So this is the day use parking pass. If you have a hiking permit, you would have a different pass. Because with this pass, I have to exit the park by 5 o'clock because the gates will be locked. The parking lot for the Poopenaut Valley Trail is not very big. There's some convenient bear lockers, which are a must. If you keep food in your car, you could end up with broken windows and possibly a fine. And just across the road is the trailhead. It starts right here, and you can get a glimpse of the dam in the distance. And pretty much the trail drops down, and it only gets steeper and steeper as you go down. So definitely bring some good hiking shoes or boots, just anything that'll keep you from slipping down in the front of your shoes, so that you keep your toenails intact for the trip. I would suggest some hiking poles, very long ones, and also lots of water. Less than 100 feet from the roadside trailhead, you'll find this marker, which gives you the wilderness rules. However, there is no camping allowed at Poopenaut Valley, but if you continue on beyond it, this is your general instruction. This is a very steeply descending trail, so I definitely got to leave enough time to climb out, as it's going to take quite a bit longer to get up the hill as it is downhill. And they close the gates here at 5 o'clock and literally lock you in. Supposedly the ranger tries to get everybody out. Of course, if you're not near your car, I don't think the ranger is going to come down and hold the gate open for you, which basically means sleep in your car until they open up in the morning. Alright, the fire did rage through here and left a lot of scarring. It looks like the sun is already setting down on the hilltop here going down Poopenaut Valley. The trail's been nothing but put on the brakes all the way down so far, so actually I'm working up a sweat going downhill, which normally you can kind of coast. Hiking poles would have been very useful here. Looks like I'm on about the height of the O'Shaughnessy Dam over there, maybe still a little bit above it, but the Tuolumne River ends up going down this canyon here, where I'm going to end up at also. And here's the direction I'm heading. It's a very narrow single track trail. It's not very colorful, as I said earlier, so it's basically just a kind of a scenic rocky Sierra view here. And there's plenty of granite all around me. Snow is very scarce here, but there will be snow, I'm sure, later on. Let's go see what this valley looks like. One more thing about this trail, the leaves in this time of year, and this is January 3rd, tend to camouflage the trail every now and then, so you can, you just got to keep an eye on where you're going, and the trail shows up again. But the leaves are actually, they're not that slippery right now because the ground is kind of moist and the traction is awesome right now. I would imagine in the summer when the ground gets dry and hot, you definitely you would be sliding coming down this hill quite a bit. And this is the trail going up, but I'm still descending, but the moss on these rocks here is pretty amazing. I've walked about half an hour. I left the trailhead about noon and it's 12:30, so for 30 minutes I've been doing back and forth. They're not really switchbacks, the trail just kind of sways all over the place, and it's a nice relief to finally get to level ground. It kind of takes the strain off your legs, your knees, and it's very important to have a good pair of hiking shoes with you when you come down this trail, mainly not so much for the traction as the sliding into your toes. You don't want to, ruin your toenails coming down this section. If you wear tennis shoes, really tighten them up super tight so that you don't slide forward in them. And let's see, now that we're kind of leveled off, we're going to take a look around. Again, if I were to do this again and not take pictures, I would take some hiking poles down And of course you got to put them on the extended, the long setting, and you know, stick them way out in front of you. Use those wrist straps to take that bouncing that you get when you come down, and you know, you could probably come down this in 15 minutes. So that's just a recommendation. I also would recommend not to do this trail in the summer. I have a feeling it can get very hot unless you do it early in the morning. Let's take a look and see what's further up ahead. Hopefully the bears are hibernating. Despite the warnings of trees being down, this is only the second tree that I've encountered so far that's down on the trail, and it's really very low, so there's not much of an issue of crossing. And looks like your typical Yosemite sign up ahead. I don't think it's going to tell us much about mileage. I have a feeling this is more about what we can do or not do here. So don't plan on camping out here. So no sooner do I talk about trees being down, and here's a severely burnt one. Well, that burnt tree leaves a good trail marker to find my way back when I decide to go back up to the hill where I came from. And it looks like right here is a nice little creek that has some wonderful runoff, I imagine in the springtime, but it could be a little tough to navigate here. This creek finds its way down to the Tuolumne River. I hiked past another creek, which the sound of it was about the only sound. There were no birds, but now down here in the valley, lots of birds up here in the tree. There's a lot of evidence of this year's snowfall, having already flattened out these grasses. Well, I'm going to assume this is not the Tuolumne River. This is flowing quite well, though. There was a little creek that I was following, but this has a lot more flow in it. Of course, until this empties out in the Tuolumne, I won't be able to get to it, unless I decide to wade across here. But let's just follow this little stream down and see where it connects with the Tuolumne River.
And yes, you probably assumed before I did that indeed this is, and that little creek was, the Tuolumne River. And here it is spread out a lot wider, and it's a lot more obvious now. If you decide to come down in the summer and enjoy this gorgeous swimming hole, just remember it is icy cold because the water is just below the O'Shaughnessy Dam. You may have decided to take a dip in that nice cold river, and even taking a 25-foot dive off that ledge in the swimming hole. But now your climb up, if you're in the summer, is going to be a bit warm. There is, of course, one reward, and that's when you get back on Evergreen Road. There's the Evergreen Lodge waiting there with a nice, cool, refreshing drink.